And are we going? Yes, we are going.
We do seem to be going, yeah. Hello, everyone, and welcome back from our 1 week hiatus to Your Time Starts Now, a Taskmaster podcast. He's Joe, and I'm Emerson.
And he is Emerson.
I just said that. Quick, you probably heard the little message I put out. Basically, just to reiterate that the primary reason why we missed out on a week, other than the death of Queen Elizabeth II, was that I moved into new university digs, and I'm currently here now, and it's a very nice little room. I'm not actually sitting on my bed to record for the first time in a long time.
Maybe that's why you sound a little different. You're further away or closer to your microphone.
I mean, I'd say there's about, when people sort of put their, like the surfers do the cowabunga shucker. I think that's what it's called, a shucker.
Yeah.
I'm about one of those. Like if you from the tip of my thumb to my pinky finger, I'm about one of those from the microphone. Huh. And so I'm not actually lying down on the bed. I'm sat upright for a change. I'm sat at my little dining table. There's a nice little soft sofa here. I've got my laptop in front of me. I've got my microphone here as well. And I've got my water bottle, which, due to my not amazing preparation, I might need to top up midway through this episode. Anyway, so, Joe, what's happened with you in our 1 week off?
Honestly, nothing of any note, really. Other than that, I feel like I need to be either closer or further away to the microphone.
Okay.
Because I'm not sure which way I need to be. But that's a now thing as opposed to a not like an over the week thing. Honestly, not much happened.
Okay. Go anywhere nice? Do anything fun?
Nah.
Bloody blah.
Nah, nothing really.
So, that's...
Wow, we're exciting.
Do we have to stretch out the banter, or should we just go into what we're talking about today?
I did actually wanted to mention something, but it's not actually. It's actually like a Taskmaster related thing.
Oh, that reminds.
What?
Oh, no, you talk first. I'll just bring it up so I get the name right.
Oh, I was going through Taskmaster.info last week after the episode we recorded, or the week before, and I found that there apparently are some lost tasks that never got aired, which obviously there are, but this one actually was worth Alex Horn mentioning in one of the Taskmaster books that I thought was really interesting, and I figured I'd mention.
Okay.
Because this is actually from season 1, which is there was apparently a task that Tim Key did so well that they never actually gave it to anybody else.
Really?
Because, yeah, it was... Wow. So this is actually based off of the master task of give money to the Taskmaster or their assistant, which was first done in the Edinburgh Fringe version of the show.
Okay.
And then they tried to do it in season 1, and to quote from the book... We watched Tim fret for a good 15 minutes before depositing a certain sum of money that we weren't comfortable showing on television, and which I don't feel ready to tell you now, and which we had to return immediately in case his flat was repossessed.
Fuck, Jesus Christ.
So Tim apparently sent his entire life savings.
So this is the sort of thing I want Taskmaster Supermax Plus to do. For admittedly a smaller sum... Maybe say £2 or £3.99 a month, or something,
or a one-time fee.
A one-time fee, yeah, a small one-time fee of maybe £5, which I think I'd be okay with. They release every single unshown task, and that's probably a catalogue of possibly 300 or 400 tasks, which I'd be perfectly fine with.
Yeah,
because I think that is the perfect thing for Taskmaster Supermax Plus. You are right. I would rather pay a rather small one-time fee for that than
Yeah.
I was when season 13 was airing. they were constantly referencing play along with the Taskmaster app kind of thing. Do you know how much the Taskmaster app cost?
No, I didn't know there was an app.
Well, there was an app. It wasn't even free. It was £2.99.
Okay. I mean, that's a bit, but I don't know.
I mean, I didn't download the app, so I can't say whether or not it was worth it. But my guess would be no.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I mean, if we ever get Patreon money, if we keep doing more things like the Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai thing with other movies, and we put them on Patreon for like a small fee of $1 or $2, then that sort of money will probably go to us downloading the Taskmaster app, and we'll give you our very... That could be a fun bonus episode. We download the Taskmaster app and give you our 100% honest thoughts on it. It'd probably it'd probably quite short. I couldn't imagine it being longer than, say, half an hour. But yeah, I think it would be a fun thing to do.
It would. You want to know what else? I'm going through there's apparently 3 unaired tasks from season 1 that Taskmaster.info knows of.
Okay.
And
sorry.
This is great. So, from the book, for this ultimately pointless task, we made all the Series 1 contestants don an enormous parrot costume in a meeting room somewhere deep in High Wycombe's Eden Shopping Center before guiding them to a spot just outside of a jewelry shop where they had to persuade passersby to sign a piece of paper.
Sorry, I bumped my microphone a bit.
This is why Alex Horne doesn't like to bother the public.
I think I heard about that task.
We all thought that the high five of 45-year-old.
No, 55-year-old.
High five of 55-year-old.
Get it right, Joe.
It's this one. This traumatized him because, again, Tim Key comes up because Alex also apparently mentioned it in the Taskmaster of Ed Gamble's Stealing Us, our thing podcast. I
don't know how long we can get away with stealing it because I devised the idea and I started.
And
I proposed the idea before.
Yeah, Ed Gamble stealing our idea. That's what so apparently Tim Key's attempt was first 10 minutes spent buying 20 pounds of sweets, spent lots of time linked up against a wall, almost knocked over a 4-year-old, silent and menacing, demanded that parents sign for the sweet. He was determined to stick to what was quite a bad plan. He waited. It was chilling and sad. Eventually, he got allies in Carphone Warehouse. So maybe that's why we don't...
Taskmaster Supermax Plus, take notes. This is the sort of stuff that I would be willing to pay, not monthly, but like I said, maybe a small one-time fee. I would be willing to pay for the 400, maybe even 500 plus unreleased tasks that you did.
What I find really interesting is that apparently there's also one about popping a roll of bubble wrap that they tried twice.
Sorry.
And it didn't work either time. Tim Key tried a large garden roller. Josh Widdicombe wielded a knife. It just didn't work. However, strangely, the Scandinavians seem to love it. Kongen Befaler and Sir Mastari both used that as an aired task. Well, season 1 and season 3.
What was the second one you mentioned? I know Kongen Belfar, that's Norway.
Sir Mastari is Finnish.
Oh, so amazingly, it's not been snatched up by Basti Test.
About that.
Oh, it has, hasn't it?
Season 1, episode 1.
Oh.
Of Basti Test. But also...
I was just... Sorry, can
Yeah.
Sorry, can I just... these stupid things just come into my head all the time. What if Basti Test was hosted by the Muppet Swedish Chef? Spindy beauty, Basti Testy, you do me stooty dowy. Mean assistant? Because you know how Swedish Chef is surrounded by the talking food.
Yeah, no, the assistant is an increasingly exasperated Kermit the Frog.
Like, and this will to be an assistant to Kirby Foggy. Hiya, Swedish chef. So yeah, I am here to manage the tasks and assist you in assisting managing the tasks. And today we have asked them to bring in the best what was my line again?
Hairy thing.
I don't know. Whenever I try to do a Kermit the Frog impression, he always sounds like he just does not know where he is. And
It's a lot better than mine, but no. Interestingly, from also,
I mean, Swedish chef's very easy to do an impression of. All you have to do is just say a bunch of random nonsense, and it could be close to Swedish.
To increasingly get off topic, my favorite thing is that apparently I learned this actually from an old Adam Hills stand-up set that in Sweden, the localized version of the Muppets is the Swedish chef is the Norwegian chef, which must mean that at some point a group of Swedish children went to Norway and tried to make fun of the Norwegian children by making Swedish chef noises.
What does Norwegian chef sound like?
It's probably the same thing. They just didn't want to insult the Swedes. So, the Norwegian children must be going, oh my God, they actually sound like that.
But the thing is, I can't speak. Maybe we could ask Fred the Swede what he thinks of Swedish chef. But I don't. If I was Swedish and I saw this, obviously it's a very inaccurate depiction of Swedish people. But I wouldn't mind. I don't think I'd mind because of how genuinely amazing Swedish chef is, just as a character.
I don't. Maybe this is actually just a lie perpetuated by an Australian man. But anyway,
I mean, I thought Mexico would hate Speedy Gonzalez, but apparently he's treated like a national hero or a national icon, rather.
Probably. I think that's true. Getting us back somewhere in the direction of Taskmaster, though, one final note about the unaired bubble wrap task. The season 3 version I really want to see. It was a 5-meter long roll of bubble wrap, so about 15 feet. Paul Chowdhury apparently tried to use the van, the Taskmaster van, to run over it.
Oh, God. Oh, no.
So that's how badly that went. But anyways, I think we should now continue on in the general direction of the show that we are supposed to be talking about.
Well, we're not supposed to be talking about anything. We're not getting paid. Like, for all we know, the Taskmaster could be a minor footnote in the history of this and God knows we could go on to maybe talking about I don't know, anything else. But Taskmaster could just be like a minor footnote. But I mean, we'll probably do we'll have a maybe Christmas special episode this year, which is our big ramble episode where we just talk about anything.
Okay. But
I want to sit down, and I know you don't like Fred the movie, but I want to sit down and defend Fred the movie.
Okay.
I'm not going to make you watch it.
No, seriously, that's fine.
And when I do it, I just hope you see where I'm coming from with it. You don't have to like it. You don't have to watch it. But if you can see, okay, maybe he slightly has a point. That's the sort of thing. Anyway, Taskmaster Series 6, Episode 2, Tarpetus.
Yeah, I found a coin. Do you want heads or tails to do the prize task?
Let's go heads. Why not?
Okay. The coin I'm using is an Icelandic 50 krona coin that I found in my desk drawer. Heads is okay, so you picked the crab, and I get the Icelandic coat of arms.
Well, the coat of arms is usually the tails on most coins.
that is the tails, and it did come up tails. What? So does that mean that I have to do the prize task?
Who did?
I win, so you lose. You have to do it. That's what that means.
All right. I don't mind. But first, Alex and Greg's banter. Alex has made a new scent called Alsatian, which he's described as a before shave. So you don't shave your beard and then put it on after to sort of stop your skin getting all rashy and uncomfortable, you put it on beforehand for really no reason, and it lasts up to a year, maybe more, because it's made of deodorant and glue. And Alex has actually got 2 more scents coming up later in the show, one of which he does not actually give the name of.
Yeah.
But so the prize task, the best hairy thing that isn't alive. This is quite interesting because, like, I feel like this is one of the specific prize tasks.
It's also one of the ones where this could be fun to do, but the specific execution, I didn't particularly like any of it.
I feel like the person who won this task, I think, is quite. There is sort of some debate as to whether they should have won, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Lisa Tarbuck is up first, and she has brought in a collection of FaceTime wigs, which she will put on a different one every time she FaceTimes her mum. So one time she'll be probably wearing like a ginger bob wig, or maybe like a long blonde wig or something like that.
Lisa predicted Zoom filters like 2 years before it happened.
Oh, that reminds me. Did you want to utilize our Hawaiian shirt count jingle again?
Yes, I would. A stealth one today.
Hold on. Can we just add the jingle?
Yes.
Hawaiian shirt count.
Okay, it's probably in by now. Okay, actually, you say, and then I'll ask my question.
The stealth count, the stealth one. Look very closely at Tim Vine's jacket. It's a very nice. God, I can't remember what the hell the pattern is called. It's one of those like psychedelic-y, like paisley patterns. It's like a paisley-esque pattern, but it's black on black, so it doesn't really show up, but it's definitely there.
Was it like made of the Hawaiian shirt material, or would you say that's more? Because when I think paisley, I would think Canadian lumberjack.
That's plaid.
Plaid? Oh yeah. What's paisley then? I'm trying to picture it.
It's Google paisley.
Okay. While I do that, what did you think of the new jingles?
I thought the Hawaiian shirt count was great. I think they're all great. It's really funny because I don't get to hear them until I'm editing the episode.
Well, you don't. You only do the stuff for YouTube. I edit them.
Yeah.
The thing
I know when I'm editing the video, so I didn't know what it was until I was like looking later.
My one concern is because the Taskmaster Joe jingle is now probably treble its original length.
Oh no! What a problem! Wait,
but it's sort of just like it's great to sort of establish. It's great to use maybe for the first Taskmaster Joe of every episode, but using after that, it's like it's the Taskmaster and you have to listen to all that again. It's just like, oh God, can't you just cut the crap already? That's what I thought. I'm critiquing my own. We're probably not going to change it because why should we?
Why would we do that?
We've no incentive to do anything here. We're just doing this. We are literally doing this for fun.
Yes, but no. Tim is wearing black on black paisley, which I thought was very interesting.
Okay. My favorite thing about the Taskmaster, is it the Taskmaster Joe jingle? I think, yeah, it is because it's quite long, but it's the long breath of the inhale at the end, like I did it all in one breath.
Yeah, that
probably picked up on my microphone. Yes, it did. So I'm going to have to trim that down a bit in the sound room. Anyway, we got slightly off topic there. Lisa's collection of FaceTime wigs is pretty good. Asim, has brought in a life-size cutout of himself, and Greg's reaction was sort of the same as mine. It's not... Asim's a hairy bloke. You can tell it by not even looking at his everything below his neck. But the cutout is not particularly hairy.
I kind of agree with Asim on this one. I think that it's definitely more inspired.
Oh yeah, it is inspired.
It's a more inspired take. Certainly is better than what the next person did.
Are you a particularly hairy guy?
Yes.
My man looks like a partially shaved grizzly bear.
Okay.
Look at yourself and say I'm wrong.
Oh, a picture. I am very hairy. Yes.
I was talking about you.
Yeah. Your
Anyway,
audio cut out, so I heard like grizzly bear, and that was it.
oh God, don't tell me. Please tell me it hasn't. I'm still here.
You are here. I was just for a second.
Well, I'm recording on Audacity as well, so it'll probably not. Depending on which version I like more, it'll be the one that appears in the edit. Anyway, as you were saying, Alice has brought in the hair, a clump of hair that she's got from her hairbrush and from her bath and shower drains, and she's made a little display ball. Admittedly, it was a lot less disgusting than I thought it was going to be.
And it's a lot cleaner, which is disturbing.
It reminded me of
its
two
own way.
things. The thing itself looked like a little bit of the thneed of a truffula tree from the Lorax. That's what it reminded me of.
Yeah.
And the second thing was there was a clip on What's Going On Here, where there's like a picture of something, and on Mock the Week, and the panelists have to say what's happening in this picture. And the picture inspiration was Boris Johnson shaking hands. This must have been like 2016, 2017. But it was a picture of Boris Johnson shaking hands with someone in the army who was dressed in some sort of camouflage suit, and it was all long.
Oh, the ghillie suit one. I've seen that one.
That's the one. And then one of them, I can't remember who it was, said, "Is this what Boris Johnson found when he used a coat hanger to unclog his shower?"
Oh,
That's
God.
what it reminded me of.
Yeah. I did not like Alice bringing in a clump of her own hair. That's...
Yeah, Greg retches.
Yeah.
I don't wholly blame him, although I do think it was not as bad visually as I thought it was going to be. Like I said, Mr. Russell Howard, sort of went down a similar route to Asim. He brought in a life-size Chewbacca costume, and Greg Greg thinks that it looks like the back of a woman's head, and the mouth is opened up, and you're walking behind her, and you're just like, kind of.
Yeah, I kind of like the Chewbacca costume. That's a good one. And then who do we have? Yes,
Tim.
Tim.
Now, Tim is one I have very mixed feelings about.
I don't.
Because objectively, it is the best thing in general. It is the best thing. It is a genuine hair from the king of rock and roll himself, Elvis Presley. At least that's what he claims.
Well, if it's not, then the authentication is faulty.
Yeah. So if we're looking at things on just as a best thing, this is objectively the best thing. I'm not even going to debate it. The thing is, it's a hair, but I wouldn't say it's like hairy.
I mean, it has, in fact, a hair in it.
That is
and
true.
Therefore,
but
it is hairy, whether you like it or not. Hair is, by definition, hairy.
Yeah, you are right. You are right. So, although having said that, I wouldn't if a man had one strand of hair on his head, I wouldn't say he was hairy.
No, but
at least on his head.
But it's all in the definition. I mean,
this is Taskmaster, where things can be.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? You are right. You are right. This was the right way to.
Yes.
I mean,
then what would you bring in? Because we've gone through the.
Oh God.
Because I don't have any debate on the Elvis hair. I was like, yep, that's the best.
Yeah, well, but this is all what's in your personal collection. So, oh God, that's so difficult. I guess if I. Oh God, I don't actually have a lot of hairy things.
You can buy something.
Yeah, but it's. I feel like it's more fun to just choose something that's already in your personal collection, especially as a podcast host.
Oh no, I would have if I was doing this, I would buy a taxidermied animal.
Okay, we're going to make a rule for this. It has to be something that's already in your personal collection.
No, I'm gonna buy a taxidermied animal.
All right, I'm going to do it from my
The
own personal
money is
collection.
in my personal collection.
I just think it's more it makes you as a person, it dictates whether you're interesting as a person if you already have it. So,
You
okay.
think that Tim Key had a reindeer skull before he was given the task?
I mean, I like to imagine he did.
I think he went out and got one. I think it's much more interesting to see what you could even think of.
Well, we'll have to find out. I'm going to personally think of something that I own already in my personal collection. And Jesus, this is difficult because like I said, I guess if I had to go with something, I would take in a stuffed toy that I thought was quite cute.
That's not hairy though. That's supposed to be like that's like fake. I guess that's in the same vein as Chewbacca, but Chewbacca is in the Star Wars universe supposed to be hairy. I don't know why, but the teddy bear seems not as much.
All right. If I had to go out and buy something, I would buy the biggest drag queen wig I could find. Because drag queens sometimes
that would be funny. But no, I would bring in. So you'd bring in a drag queen wig, and I would bring in a taxidermied leopard or something.
It's because sometimes drag queen wigs are voluminous, they're massive, they're sometimes really brightly colored, and I'm not a drag queen, although I think it would be fun to maybe do it at some point.
No, okay.
I'm talking about myself. You don't have to participate. Ramesh Ranganathan and Rob Beckett dressed in drag once, and it was amazing. Honestly, it looks like something out of a nightmare.
Good.
Yeah, that's probably what I bring in. You said you bring in a taxidermied leopard,
or something like that.
You're making me think of the time Lee Mack brought in like a taxidermy rat or something. In Would I Lie to You?
Yeah, no, I would bring in
another one. This is quite topical now. It wasn't. I can't remember who it was, but they brought in a taxidermied monkey with a crown on it.
Huh.
And Lee Mack said, just out of nowhere, sorry, just a completely separate thing. Does anyone think that Camilla's actually going to be queen? In response to the monkey being out. And lo and behold, here we are now.
Yep.
Anyway, the scores are... Sorry, I've scrolled down a bit too far. Tim gets 5 for his Elvis hair. Lisa gets 4. Alice and Russell get 2 points each. And Asim gets 1. Now, Joe...
Only half an hour in, and we've finally gotten through the prize task.
This is normal for us. We'll probably motor through the rest of these in another half an hour.
Also, would like to point out that this has been done by other Taskmaster shows. Sir Mistari did it in season 1, episode 8. That's it.
Sorry, I'm stroking the dead cat of my microphone like it's a... I don't know what it's with the muzzle of my microphone. Windsock, whatever it is. But I probably shouldn't be doing it. I'll probably edit out. But I'm stroking it like it's a cat, and I don't know why. Anyway, your turn to talk about the next task.
Yeah. Let me just get it up here. Get the highest score in darts. You can either throw 1 dart from 1 meter away, 3 darts from 2.37 meters away, or 60 darts from 10 meters away. When throwing, please stand behind whichever distance line you choose. You have a maximum of 10 minutes. Your time starts now.
So I wrote down a couple of notes about this task. When Alex
was this supposed?
Sorry,
the dart is in the some sort of field next to a parking lot, next to a bar.
I thought it was just a pub beer garden. I don't know the exact location, but notes I do have. When Alex introduced this task, all 5 contestants audibly groaned.
Yep.
And at that moment, I obviously, because I've seen this episode before, but I was like, if you're an audience member and you see them have that reaction, you think, "Oh my god, I'm in for such a treat."
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. No, this
And Alex mentions that they chose 2.37 meters because apparently that's Greg's height, and that would mean that Greg is about 7.7 feet tall.
I'm glad I wasn't the only one who quickly Googled what that meant, what that was in like normal units.
Mm. And also one more thing, this is an editing trick that I really like. It's like when normally when, I'll give the example, Lisa Tarbuck, because she knows that Tim Vine is a semi-professional darts player, and she's like, Vine's going to be so-and-so about this. Yeah, and then it cuts to Tim Vine, and he's sort of just like, "Oh,
she soul read Tim right there." But
that reminds me of something. Do you know the Sidemen?
No.
Okay, it doesn't matter. Group of British YouTubers, their editors sometimes do them really dirty in ways like that, and it's hilarious.
Oh yeah, I can imagine. But anyways, so all the darts are in a halved watermelon, which I thought was a nice touch at like the 10-meter mark. And so we do get Lisa soul reading Tim's choice.
Fun fact, that half melon came from Ramesh Ranganathan smashing it on the ground.
I bet. But anyways, we start with Lisa and Ashim. Then
it's Asim.
Asim, I know. Shut up.
No.
Anyways, this is probably the one that I have the least notes on because they both go from the 2.37 meter line, and Lisa's first throw is wide off to one side and doesn't get it, and then the rest of them actually do fairly well. Asim manages to get I think like the double on the one, which gives you an idea of how this goes for.
Yeah.
And then
Asim gets 16. Lisa, while missing the first dot, gets 32 in the end.
Yeah, because I think she gets like the double 16 or something.
Or she gets, I think she gets 20 and 12.
Yes, that's what it was. I only watched this episode 25 minutes ago, and I don't even remember it now. Then I would like to mention the commercial break, because they have a commercial break between Asim and Lisa, and then the rest of this.
And it's in like the old-timey film effect.
They do it in an old-timey black and white film effect, but they also have the music in an old-timey black and white film effect, because old-timey black and white movies used like, for music, they would basically either have like very primitive recording technology, so everything always sounded like tinny and high pitched.
Yeah,
and they recreated that. And I always like to mention the different musical cues.
I did find out because at one point, you know how sometimes old timey cartoons or like cartoons in like old fashioned styles will have like that whiny trumpet sort of noise. Like I found out that's done because there's this cone thing that they put into the end of the trumpet barrel so that it makes that noise. Mute, yeah, that's it. And it's like, I watched the Cuphead show on Netflix, and of course, Cuphead being a very rubber hose 1920s, 30s inspired game / cartoon, they use that sound a lot.
I like you saying that as if I know what Cuphead is.
I mean, I've not played the game. I've seen footage of it, and aesthetically, it is outstanding.
Okay.
But yeah.
Anyways, following the commercial break, we come back. We get, which also great. This is the only time we'll mention the commercial break, unless something else comes up, which I don't think I wrote down anything else. It's really great that they actually just show Alex standing behind a whatever modern Canon cinema camera they have to film Taskmaster with, instead of sourcing an old prop. That's the really funny bit for me. But next we have Tim and Russell, who do it.
Well, Tim and Russell were paired up together.
From the 10 meter. Yeah. Asim and Lisa, and then Tim and Russell, they're both shown together, and then Alice by herself, because they all did it at different distances at the spoiler alert for nothing. But Tim and Russell do it from 10 meters. Russell just decides to just go for it, and so he just starts pulling them off and just hurls them at the dartboard.
It
And
just goes full Hail
it
Mary.
seems to work for right now, but
We'll find out in
we
the
will
studio.
come back to that. Meanwhile, Tim gets way into his own head because
This is another example of the great editing, because while you've just got Russell going for it like nobody's business, it cuts to
in
Tim
the
going
pouring rain, it's raining when they shoot Russell and Alice's, and Tim is standing there on a gorgeous clear day going, there's a crosswind. There's a crosswind. I might not get it. I might not do this. He's basically working himself into a corner. It takes 5 whole minutes to actually get to the point where he's throwing, and he hits the pole holding up the dartboard more than he does the actual dartboard.
Oh,
but
God. And Greg claims that he found Russell quite sexy during this thing.
Because Russell, I guess, just he found the whole appeal of someone being a natural athlete. But in the end, when we get to the scoring round, unfortunately, Russell scored most of his hits on the black ring on the outside of the dartboard, not on the scoring rings on the inside. The only one out of 60 darts that he threw hit the dartboard was for 3 points. Although there's a still of it on taskmaster.info. It is right next to the 19 slot, and that's really not fair.
That would have bumped him into? I mean, it would only have bumped. No, it would have bumped him up into 3rd place if he got 19.
Yeah, but Tim managed to actually get 29 from everything that he did. So he actually did fairly well. Then we get Alice Levine, who, among other things, has to ask if the bits of the dart are important.
I love how Alex behaved around Alice here, because he was just constantly he was messing with her.
He was fucking with her. It was great.
And it's like, I've never seen Alex actually do that. I've never seen him. Yeah. He's always just been like, oh, well, I'm not going to help you, or
giving intentionally wrong information was hilarious. But,
yeah, that's sort of like, that is why Alex Horne is so amazing.
Yeah, and Alice in this instance was also really good because
he's really cunning. And I love
Well, no, I was going to say Alice was really good because she just didn't know anything. Like, she was like, do I aim for the black ring around the outside? No, you don't, Alice. And then
anyone knows that is not how you do it.
And yeah, and then she throws it and it lands in the 13 slot. And that's the end of it because she was the only person to do it from that close. And then everyone is saying, you could have just leaned over and put it directly in the bullseye and used the lean. It's like, what's the lean? Is that, I thought it was the wings or the flight or whatever. It's like, no, Alice, you actually just could have leaned over.
I think that as 2 rather tall people with, I assume quite long arms, that is what we both would have done.
Oh, absolutely. I probably would have done the 2.3 meter one, and it would have ended terribly for me because I would have mind gamed myself into thinking that somebody else would have gotten like more points from further away. Because the bullseye is how many points is it? Like 20 something?
Well, I thought it was 36.
30, that's what it is. You could theoretically get more than that if you just hit like the 20 and then the 12 and then like
50. It's 50.
You could theoretically get more than 50 with a standard number of darts. And so what I would have ended up doing is thrown the darts and then lost. But
it really is a game because I personally, I would have gone for the 1 meter because then I would be guaranteed a high number because if I could reach forward and just push it into the 50 to the bullseye, I'm guaranteed a minimum of 50 points.
Yeah, I think I would have screwed myself out of it, but I definitely would not have
I
done
mean, in retrospect, it's definitely easier to say, "Oh, I would have done this." That's the thing about watching Taskmaster at home. You think, "Oh, I would have done this," and I would have been perfect at it. But in the moment, your brain just goes, "Mum."
It's great because I know that some tasks I'd be an idiot, like the eat the egg the fastest task. It's like, you're not supposed to eat raw eggs with the shell on them. Would Joe do it anyway? Yes. Would Joe stand further back and do it wrong? Yes.
Joe would think he's Rocky for a brief moment.
Nah.
Anyway,
Joe would be like, this was a mistake. And
anyway,
then,
scores are Lisa 5, Tim 4, Asim 3, Alice 2, and Russell gets 1.
Yep.
My turn.
Oh, hold on.
Sorry.
We do have a bunch of different series that did this. Can you guess which ones they are?
Basti Test, of course.
Yes, season 3, episode 3.
Kongan Belfar.
Season 2, episode 5.
And what was the Finnish one again?
Sir Mistari, season 2,
Mistari.
episode 3. And then there's one more.
Is it a Nordic country?
It's the last. It's the only other Nordic country.
No, it's not. There's 2 other Nordic countries. Iceland is a Nordic country.
Okay.
But you're thinking of Denmark. Denmark.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Nordic countries that are all right there. It's Stormester, season 4, episode 4.
Just to clarify, if it's got a
yes, I know.
The Iceland is a Nordic country.
Okay, let me rephrase that. A Scandinavian country in Scandinavia that's around the.
All right, Mr. Smarty Pants. VT task 2. Keep Alex dry. You may not touch Alex at any point. You may not be within the compass when the shower is on. So Alex is wearing a nice suit, which I would assume
blue suit.
Yeah, sort of thing you'd wear as a guest to someone's wedding.
Yeah.
And he's he's in the compass.
The compass thing outside the house.
Yeah.
And they're going to turn the shower on for 2 minutes in 2 minutes from when they read it.
And it's this is our first team task of the series, by the way. So the teams we find out, we have Team Alice and Russell versus Team Asim, Lisa, and Tim. And Lisa name drops the title of the episode.
And they picked those teams because of everyone's work schedules.
Exactly. So
I actually have in my notes LAT and RA as the team names.
Raw and Lat.
Although I have been informed that one of them may or may not be Team Funk. They haven't decided yet.
Maybe the team of 3 should be Control Alt Delete.
Ah, that's really good. Control Alt Delete and raw.
Raw. Like the most British word ever. Raw.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, we start with Team. Shall those be our team names for them? Control Alt Delete and Raw.
If we remember that, yes.
Well, we'll go with it for now. Team Control Alt Delete. We talked about this at one point, but they put a plastic bag. Start by putting plastic bags over Alex's head. Don't put bags over your heads.
Don't do that unless you're an assassin and that's your chosen way of murdering people.
We definitely spoke about don't put plastic bags over people's heads at some point. We've definitely.
Although I would like to point out, in fairness, that they stretched the bag enough that Alex was in no danger.
And then they fucking go to town, like they put plastic bags over his legs. No, rubber mat. No, they put the plastic bag.
Rubber mats over his legs, plastic bags over his feet.
They pull it up his legs like he's about to do a sack race.
And then ask him make sure there's a bowl over his head.
The bowl was a safer idea. Unless a heavy object landed on it and it shattered.
Yeah, and then Lisa, you said Lisa name dropped the title. That was in the initial run off to find supplies. I think she mixed up tarps and carpet.
Yeah, that's most likely it. But so the water comes on, and Alex is dry for the most part. The one area that's not dry is his lower torso, basically where his stomach is. So,
yeah, and his butt.
Tim, of all things, uses the envelope the task came on to sort of deflect the water.
And it worked. But I have a bigger question that I would like to ask, which is that when Team Control Alt Delete did this task, on that particular day, it was raining. Alex is sitting outside underneath the shower head with an umbrella, and when the time to turn on the faucet comes on, he puts the umbrella away. Why did none of them take it from him? And simply put it above the shower head, or tell Alex to hold it.
I mean, there is that, but we found that there was a much smarter solution in the next.
There is a much smarter solution, but like my man is sitting out there with an umbrella.
But first, there's a commercial break, and it's before we meet Team Ra that Alex introduces his second scent called Ache, and it's a mid-shave made of what I think he said was Chinese fire spice and ground up razor blades.
I think it was Chinese 5 spice.
Chinese
ground up razor blades.
I think Chinese fire spice sounds a lot cooler.
That does. Maybe we can title the episode that
Chinese fire spice. Oh, I saw a tweet. I'm sorry to get off topic. No, you'll like this. It says that the official KFC Twitter account only follows 11 people. All 5 Spice Girls and 6 guys called Herb.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Because of the whole 11.
Still, yeah.
Well, it was at the time of the tweet because of the whole 11 herbs and spices thing. And the first guy to point this out, he received a portrait of himself holding a chicken wing, getting a piggyback ride from Colonel Sanders.
Yeah, that's KFC's marketing for you. I'm
not going to lie to you. Even though I don't eat meat a whole lot, I still think that would be a cool thing to have.
It would be.
Like if you had that commissioned for
Twitter thing.
If you had that commissioned for you, it would probably cost maybe £500 or dollars.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, Team Ra, they start by covering Alex, but then they make the extremely smart move to completely disconnect the shower.
Well, if we're talking about extremely smart moves, let's just very quickly mention what they were going to do before they realized they could just disconnect the shower, which is they were going to use a wheelbarrow to keep water off of Alex's head like an umbrella. And then they have the idea, what if we just use the wheelbarrow to catch the water? And I'm like, oh, you guys don't know how dense water is, do you? And I'm just sitting there going like, that would be a bad idea. That would be a bad idea.
Thankfully, they don't have to worry about that because they didn't do it, did they, Joe?
Nope.
Like I said, they disconnected the shower, and to fully reassure Alex's dryness.
They pointed it away first, and then they disconnected it.
I'm trying to do my job here. I don't interrupt you with the full specifics of when you talk.
Okay.
Good boy. Anyway,
don't you good boy me.
Who's a good boy? You are? Yes, you are.
No.
Who's a good boy? Are you a good boy, Joey?
No. We're not doing this. Ending the bit. I am ending the bit.
Anyway, to fully reassure Alex's blood is dry, they even start blow drying him with hair dryers, and they give him a dry martini.
Yep.
Dry as a fly in some rye.
And they also give him a towel just for safety's sake.
Can that be our name title? Dry as a fly in some rye. It's sort of like, you know when people say snug as a bug in a rug?
That would be a little long for the YouTube title. And Chinese fire spice sounds better, doesn't it?
I mean, it sounds cooler, but I think dry as fuck it, never mind. Maybe it could be our episode description, but I like it.
Yeah.
I usually like the episode descriptions to be a quote from the actual episode we're covering. Anyway, of course, Team Ra smash it. They both get 4 points apiece. Team Control Alt Delete gets 1 point apiece.
Single point.
Yeah.
Now, very quickly, there are two similar versions. Can you guess which shows it is?
Kongan Belfar and Basti Test.
Basti Test, Season 3, Episode 5, and which other show? It's not Kongan Befaller.
Stormeister?
Nope.
Finnish one, sorry.
Surmastari, Season 2, Episode 4.
Why can't I get the name right?
Because it's only had like 2 seasons so far, which Surmastari actually was only last year, their second season.
Still going, like it's not cancelled though.
Yeah, no, none of them are. The Scandinavians love this.
US one's done so, of course.
US one is dead done.
I would like to. I don't think we'll cover it on our podcast, but I'd love to watch Kongan Belfar properly.
Yeah, we given a long enough timeline, we'll cover all of them.
Yeah, we don't think we'll talk about it because I think we'll try and cover all the English speaking Taskmasters because I want so bad to talk about Taskmaster New Zealand.
Yeah.
But anyway, do you want to talk about this one?
Yeah.
Can we try and wrap up in the next 20 minutes?
Yes. Okay, I love this task. This is people doing stupid photography. That's my entire hobby right now. Take a picture of a group of people, each holding an egg. Most people holding eggs in a picture wins. You must be in your picture. You have 1 week to text your picture to the Taskmaster's assistant. Your time starts now. Starting off with Lisa Tarbuck. She photoshopped a photo of herself into a crowd at a football stadium and then photoshopped 85 eggs into various hands of various people in the photograph. Then, next one, Asim put out a call on social media for people with holding eggs. He got 14 responses. I think 15 or 13 plus him. So that is, he made a collage of that. Then we get Alice, who went to her workplace, which is Radio 1, and got her co-workers to take the picture with her. They had 9 people holding little Cadbury, I think they're like the malted eggs, or some sort of chocolate egg.
Chocolate eggs. Sort of like stuff you bury in a kid's Easter egg hunt, kind of.
Yes. And then there is a really great unintentional bit of comedy here, which is that we get Greg shitting on Alice for not putting in a lot of effort, at minimal effort. Immediately we go to Russell's picture.
Are we not going to talk about the fact that Alice mentioned that there are other women besides her who work at Radio 1, which was not what that picture showed?
That is true. I did not really focus on that. I was too busy focusing on what happened immediately afterwards, which is that as soon as Alice gets called out for lack of effort, they cut to Russell's picture, which is Russell, his mom, and a local Mumbai, India cricket team holding eggs in India, which they're called the Mumbai Blasters. I don't know anything else about them. 23 people holding 23 eggs, holding a lot more eggs than that. I don't really know why Russell was in India with his mom, but it's really funny that there's this after Alice who went to work. And then finally
it's a shame. Sorry, I just want to say Russell, in sort of like the build up talk to this task when they first get it, Russell said he wishes he was touring so that he could have like got people to. That would have been imagine how cool that would be. Russell could, like, if you bring in an egg, you get a free drink.
He could have just done that anyway. He could have just said on Twitter, "Hey guys, I'm going to be at a bar at the X time, and I'll do a set if you all have eggs." Like, he doesn't have to be touring. I'm sure people would still come out. But anyways, finally, the last person is Tim Vine in with the most interesting method possible, which is that he went to his local butcher's shop for some reason, and his butcher took the picture of Tim holding an egg in front of a mirror, behind a mirror, therefore making an infinite number of eggs and Tim Vines. So I think that's Tim entered the Vineverse.
Vine Man into the Vineverse.
No, Vine Man into the Timiverse.
It's based on Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
So you got to have the same word in Spider-Man.
Oh, okay.
So it's Vine Man into the Vineverse.
Yes.
That is what I said to you.
Yeah, I know, but now
Shall that be the title? Into the Vineverse.
Into the Vineverse, yes. But
I've been in like lifts or elevators, if you can't understand my British English, where they'll have two mirrors.
Yeah,
and you get that effect, and that's cool. I like that.
It is really fun. Infinite eggs, infinite Vineverses, but
Greg could only count a grand total of 8 eggs, which means Alice's piss poor effort is tops.
Well, she got that after she complained. Ordinarily, I would say something about that, but Tim just seemed glad to be out of the house, so he didn't really care.
This wasn't 2020, mate. You don't have to be that relieved to get out, I
guess. And then onward, and then that's basically it. Onwards to task 4.
Wait, hold on. The scores: Lisa 5, Russell 4, Acid 3, Alice 2,
yes,
Tim 1.
Yes.
And this is an exciting one. Wait, who
this
is
one?
This? Is this me or you?
I mean, do you want to do it? Otherwise, I can't.
No, this is my task, and I want to talk about it. And I'm excited because this is another Taskmaster Joe task. So
yes.
VT task for make this little wind-up man go on the most extraordinary journey. This task
30 minutes.
Yeah.
Your time starts now. 2
notes before we talk about people's actual attempts. All of them like emerge from the caravan. When Tim comes out, I think it's like like one of the metal canopies where the window just falls off.
Yes.
Which I think reinstate, because obviously the joke is that Alex lives in the caravan.
Yeah.
And I think the joke that it's the interpretation that it's falling apart around him is really funny because it just shows how little Greg cares about him. The other thing is when describing the little man, basically he's on like a penny farthing or a large trolley. He's on a penny farthing. He's got blue trousers, a little red jacket, and he's got a comically large top hat which slips down over his eyes, and he's got a thick moustache. Basically, Alex compares him to Hitler.
Yes.
Although the moustache was too thick to be Hitler.
Yeah.
I'll say that.
And then also, I would like to make a note, which is that when they introduce the task, they have the fly over the house with the Taskmaster music, and they pan the camera down to the caravan, and the music falters for a second because Tim couldn't figure out how to open the goddamn door of the caravan.
I love editing tricks.
So they actually you could hear him jiggling the lock trying to get the door open. It makes the music falter for like 3 or 4 beats before continuing on.
Anyway, let's talk about people's actual attempts with this task. Lisa's up first, and basically she winds him up, and she sends him into the open road where there's it's not heavy traffic, but
it looks like it's a parking lot or something. Like it's the entrance road to a parking lot.
There's suddenly a lot of cars coming in and out. There was even a bike at one point which swerved around the little man. At one point he gets knocked over, and Lisa, without a second's hesitation, stamps on him and crushes him to death.
Much to Alex's horror,
Yeah.
Which I would like to point out something is that nobody mentioned that what Lisa did is that Lisa sent this little wind-up man on a most extraordinary journey to the afterlife.
That reminds me. It's like saying. It reminds me of why did the chicken cross the road to get to the other side?
Uh-huh.
The sort of morbid interpretation of that joke.
Yeah.
Obviously, when you look at it from that perspective as an adult, it becomes so much fun. Not so much funnier, but it becomes funnier.
Yeah.
I wasn't crazy about this one, to be honest. I thought it was unnecessary. The ending was just unnecessary, even if it was just for content. Russell's up next, and I did like this one because Alex, I don't know if this could be called racist or anything, but apparently Russell thinks the Buddha is a white man in his late 30s or 40s at the time. In a yellow morph suit.
The reason why he's in a yellow morph suit is that statues of the Buddha are typically gold.
Oh, that's true. But
so
I mean, like, if Alex was pretending to be the Buddha, it was still kind of racist.
I mean, it was they had Alex and that was it. I mean, they had Alex and presumably a morph suit budget. I'm gonna.
But anyway, he takes him on a spiritual journey.
A spiritual
Alex
journey.
Tries to. Alex reads a bunch of in spiritual quotes, and Greg described it best. Russell sort of became like a football man, just sort of like, be more inspirational, think this, tell them this, that sort of thing.
More spiritual.
Yeah.
Do it more spiritually.
All the while he's delivering the little man.
He's got the little
up to
man
the top
on
of the
a
roof.
stick. Onto that, he's like hoisting it to the top of the roof.
Yeah, and then he just lets him tumble his way down. And is it Alex who catches him?
Yes, Alex
catches him, and it's pretty good.
Yeah,
I liked this one. Tim hoists him, like pulley winches him into a tree, which he calls, I think it's Fir Tree Summit. That's the one.
Can I make a comment about this really quick?
It's not like you've been making comments when I've been talking, but sure.
I can wait until after you're done.
Please just feel free. You've asked to do it. You can do it now.
So anyways, Tim, when he starts, he throws a dowel with a rope on it to actually like make the rope that goes up the tree. And it really doesn't work that well. And you can actually hear Alex laughing in the background, which is really uncommon.
Well, I mean, when Alex will laugh, he hides his face behind the clipboard.
Oh no, he's not even on screen. It's just in the background.
Yeah, but
I was looking at Tim, and Tim was not laughing. So I was like, "Oh shit, that's Alex or the cameraman."
But Tim says that the important part of the journey is that he needs to come back. He can't get him out of the tree by the rope, so he goes full patatas and starts sellotaping a bunch of shit together to just try and whack it out the tree.
Yeah.
He finally gets down. He lands back in Tim's safari hat, and it's a cute little end.
The rope might have been around the little man's neck, which
Tim
named him Midian.
Midian. We should have called him Midian. I mean, we should have referred to him as Midian.
Yeah.
I don't know. But let's not do that. But yeah, we've had 2 attempts to kill this man so far. Well, technically 3, but it was more like they saved his life in Russell's one.
Yeah.
Alice tries to send the little man to Australia.
To a cousin.
Oh god. I take my notes so bluntly, and I literally just she never gets him back. He could still be in the country for all they know.
Yeah, she no, it's really funny why is because she called her dad to ask the address, and apparently the address he had was one from 40 years ago.
These people are absolute. They're amazing, and I don't necessarily mean that in a good way.
And then Asim actually points out that basically all 4 of these people have killed Midian in the most terrible fashions. It's at 34:02 in the YouTube video. Can you drop the soundbite in?
3402. Okay.
I think he died alone in a bag. He died alone in a bag. You smashed the shit out of him. You brainwashed him in some cult, and you lynched him. He's not.
Listen, Asim's got a very good point, I think, that all of these people have shown scant regard for small moustache man's safety.
Absolutely.
No. The view from Fir Tree Summit is amazing.
Yeah.
Speaking of Asim, this, in my opinion, was the task of the episode.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, Asim so far has been... he's been sort of like the Nish Kumar of the series, if you get what I mean.
Yeah, just about. He's been a little... He's not as unintentionally self-sabotaging.
Yeah. I mean, I love Nish Kumar so much. Oh, cute fun fact. You know where Gamble got married either this year or last year?
I did not.
Well, he got married, and oh god, I love this. Obviously, all the people within like the British comedy circle turned up. So you had Tim Key, Josh Whittaker, Alex Horn, all those people were there, right?
Yeah.
Nish Kumar was the ring bearer.
Oh my god.
And I thought, I simultaneously wanted to cry, like with tears of joy, but cry with tears of laughter.
Oh no.
That's all I wanted to say. I think it was just a cute thing. Anyway, back to Asim. Asim sort of like digs this little tunnel, and he adds a bunch of spiky obstacles, and he even adds pyrotechnics.
And fake lizards.
Yeah, and apparently some copyrighted music because the audio here was weird.
Oh, I didn't notice anything.
Well, literally the audio goes all distorted, and you do that when sort of there's copyright music, but you could still sort of hear the talking.
I thought it was because they were trying to do like Journey to the Center of the Earth kind of vibes. Because what it seemed like is he parachutes the little man into like a storm drain, and then he pedals out through a tunnel past all the obstacles and the pyrotechnics and the lizards and everything.
But I thought, I mean, I'll listen to the version of the episode on Channel 4 because I watched it on YouTube. I'll listen to that. If there's music there during that scene, then we'll know that's why it sounds weird in the YouTube version.
I thought it was more of a stylized thing.
But for now,
I mean, here if there is one.
Oh god, so much editing. Okay. I will simply just say yes or no if my theory was right here.
Yes.
But anyway, regardless of whether there was copyrighted music or not, this was awesome.
Yes, it was. It was really neat.
Basically, the little man winds his way through a bunch of spikes on the ceiling and floors. There's flames going out. And we get my quote of the episode, which I think I'll make the episode description.
Fucking loads of dangerous shit. Come on.
Yeah.
This was great. I have no complaints at all.
No, neither do I.
And it was genuinely, it was the best because his little guy survived, and he went on arguably the funnest adventure, I'd say.
Yeah. Well, it's the only real adventure anybody
felt like a level from a video game. Anyway, Asim of course gets 5 points, Lisa gets 4, and Alice, Russell, and Tim all get 3 apiece, which I think is not unfair. And then we have quite possibly the biggest waste of 7 minutes of all our lives.
Well, do we want to do Taskmaster Joe first?
Oh, yeah, of course. Sorry. Drop the Taskmaster Joe jingle here.
It's the Taskmaster and his name is Joe, and he's gonna tell us what we should know. It's Taskmaster Joe.
Yeah, so just very quickly, I obviously Asim goes in first. Then I'm going to give Alice second. I'm going to give Alice a third place, actually, because there's no second place, because an adventure through the postal service is kind of okay. Although, and this is going to reveal Joe's real knowledge of the situation, is that she definitely sealed the little man inside a standard envelope.
When you say Joe's knowledge, do you mean Alice's knowledge? Or do you mean Joe's knowledge, your own knowledge?
Joe's own knowledge of this situation is she put the little man inside a standard padded mailer envelope, and as we've seen, he can get smashed really easily, and the post office runs those things through like rollers and high-speed sorters, and that the reason why it didn't show up is probably because at some point they went and sorted him, and an Amazon package either landed on top of him and smushed him, or he got absolutely chewed up by some high-speed sorter somewhere. So if he made it to Australia, it was in pieces.
Oh God, that's
unless they repackaged him at like off screen. But
that's horrifying to think about. Anyway, as I was saying,
always pack your stuff in
bubble wrap, packing peanuts
in a box if you can.
Yeah.
And then after that,
I saw a guy box a model train from Hornby. The train itself, there were like 3 boxes, bubble wrap, and foam packaging, all coating this train.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I mean, I'm not surprised. It was probably like 230 quid.
That's 100% what you want to do. There's a model train manufacturer I buy from who once touted how good their internal packaging was by throwing a box down a flight of stairs.
It was a British 9F, by the way, which is a very fun type of train.
Yeah, I know what a 9F is.
It's what Murdoch is in Thomas the Tank Engine.
I was going to say that's what Evening Star is, the last steam locomotive built in the United Kingdom for British Rail. Although
that is also true.
Not the last one built all told, because there were a couple of 060 austerity-style tanks built for the National Coal Board after Evening Star. And then, of course, the
Peppercorn.
And then, of course, in the 2000s, there is 60163 Tornado, and
that's the Peppercorn.
And a couple of other ones that are being built now. But
most of them are just replicas, though.
Yeah, they are. They are all replicas. Obviously, nobody's going to build a scratch-built design in the 21st century, and we are getting off track to talk about trains.
Russell off track. Trains.
I'm giving Russell 4th place because it was aight, and then I'm giving Tim and Lisa joint 5th. Tim's because it wasn't that great, and Lisa's because she actively murdered him.
Okay, so now can we talk about the biggest waste of 7 minutes of my life?
Yes, because there are like 2 tasks that are similar to this. Basti Test Season 6, Episode 8 with a stuffed bear, and Kongan Befaler Season 4, Episode 11, which involved taking the Taskmaster's assistant on a journey. That's all there was.
The Taskmaster's assistant journey sounds like a fun one I'd love to see.
Yeah.
Anyway, finally, do you want to talk about this, or there's barely anything to say?
I got some stuff written down. Do you want me to talk about it?
I mean, if you've got stuff to say, by all means. But objectively, this task was a waste of time. In retrospect, of course.
It's not the worst one I've seen. The task is, when instructed, put your grape in either your hand or your mouth while staring at the Taskmaster. You must then answer the Taskmaster's question and fool the Taskmaster into thinking your grape is not where your grape is. You must not eat your grape. Your answer must contain at least 5 words. If the Taskmaster correctly guesses where your grape is, you are eliminated. There's 2 rounds, sort of. Lisa is first and is immediately eliminated. Russell manages to contort his face into a frankly terrifying, like, side-talking position, and manages to, like, mind game Greg into thinking it's in his hand. Because what everybody does is they pretend that the grape is in their mouth, and so they talk, like, with their mouth shut and, like, trying not to show that they've got something in their mouth.
We kind of have to do that.
Well, I wish
unless you can do it. I mean, I was thinking I would have if I had a grape to hand.
That's what I was thinking too. Is can you like stuff it into like your cheek or something, and so that it's not impeding your voice? But anyways,
I mean, it's a lot easier to pretend that there is a grape in your mouth than to pretend that there isn't a grape in your mouth.
Yeah. Then so Russell managed to fool Greg. Tim had it in his mouth and managed to fool Greg. Alice got out, and then Asim got out because even though he hid his face behind his hoodie that he was wearing. Round 2.
Lisa was out as well, by the way.
Yeah, Lisa was the first one. She was out. Russell, in the second round, made weird shapes with his face again and didn't have it in his mouth or his hands because he'd stuck the grape in his pocket between takes and forgot to take it out. And then Tim also was eliminated, which means that nobody wins any points.
I mean, I don't think it's fair to say the task was a big waste of time in theory, but watching it now and knowing the results, you could have skipped it.
Yes, and then would you?
Which
like
means
to
that
know
sorry.
Would you like to know how many different versions of this there are?
Can I make a guess?
Yes,
I'm going to say 6.
you are correct.
Oh wow.
There are.
I'm going to go with the 4 Scandinavian ones, right?
You are again correct.
Okay. Now this one's going to be more difficult.
Then I am counting the original Taskmaster UK version, so you only have one more guess to do.
Okay, it's not Taskmaster USA because that was only the first 5. I'm going to say... Oh, God. I'm going to say Taskmaster Portugal.
You are correct.
Yes, come on.
You are correct. Taskmaster Portugal Season 1, Episode 4 from April of this year.
Ooh, wow, that's close. Well, I say close. It was about 5 months ago.
I will say, do you want to know what's really bad? I misread it at first because Taskmaster.info, where I'm getting all this information from, puts the dates in the day, month, year format. And as an American, we do month, day, year. So I was looking at this, and the day is April 9th, 2022. I seriously thought it was September 4th. And I was like, holy shit, that's from like last week.
I just want to say this without going into... When you're saying it out loud, saying it either day or month first is okay. But writing it down or displaying it another way... day, month, year is better.
Day, no, it's month, day, year.
Day, month, year is better. Day, month, year is better.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Why is it not better?
Because fuck you. That's how it's supposed to be done.
No.
Yes.
Let's not have this argument now.
Because why is it backwards? Why if it's the 25th of December, why is the 25th first? That's a bigger number. That goes in the middle.
Yeah, but they're going in terms of how long each period that the bracket represents is.
Yeah, but that's not correct.
Yes, it.
No, it's not.
Yes, it. I'm not having this argument.
Which country landed on the moon? It certainly isn't the ones that do it the other way.
God, you're not. You can't keep playing that card.
Okay, fine. I'll play another one. If it wasn't for us, you'd be speaking German. There we go.
Do you look down on me just because I'm British?
I look down on Europe for being European.
Ladies and gentlemen, Lisa wins this show because of course she did. Joe's a fucking in denial twat.
USA! 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 Right.
He's a fucking in denial twat who doesn't know when to keep his mouth shut because he's American. Goodbye.
USA,
We will.
USA! USA!
Joe, be a good boy and say goodbye.
USA! USA! We will rule forever. Goodbye.